Montgomery County Rabbit Show. Just so exhibitors know, we will call all of our breeding bucks up at once. We have 3 classes, and we'll separate it by classes in the ring once you get up here, but we will have all 3 classes, our California Bucks Junior, California Bucks Senior, and our mini lot bucks. So just letting you know to get ready for that. Thank you. And also our judge, Justin Brandt from Glidden, Iowa. We're going ahead and calling all of our breeding bucks to the ring. We have 2 exhibitors in the first class, which is our California Buck Junior, Ella Peterson and Will Pollock. In our second class, thank you. In our second class, we have Grace Nippert and Ella Peterson. That's our California Buck Senior. We think this is a little too loud, so we're going to turn it down for you. Let us know if you can't hear. We'll have Ashley stand over there. She can read my mind anyway, so we'll see what's going on. And then in our third class, we have our mini lot bucks senior, and our exhibitor in that class is Lily Anderson. If you have does, breeding does, we have 4 classes of those. We will be bringing all of them out as well. We know that some of those are the same exhibitors, so we'll give you time, but we will call all does out to the ring at once as well. And again, judging our show today is Justin Brandt from Glidden, Iowa. I was talking to Earl right before the show started, and Earl told me he didn't tell me this, I asked him. He told me that he's been superintendent for 20-some years, and I think that's probably the longest lasting superintendent. So I think Earl should get all the payment today and start with a round of applause. I know he's probably gonna kill me for talking about it, but what an amazing thing to do for the community. Once again, if you're just joining us, we have all of our breeding bucks out which is 3 classes. Our judge is going ahead and judge all of them in respective to their classes, and then we'll give a little bit of information, let us know how the exhibitors and the rabbits do, and then we will call all does to the ring.
All right, we're on our Californian bucks here today. Californian's a commercial meat rabbit, so I'm looking for a lot of qualities that resemble a rabbit that's going to put a lot of meat and carcass on a rabbit that's going to be hanging on the line, is going to have a lot of meat on it. So I'm looking at my 2 junior bucks here today. 2 bucks that have a lot of power on them. I think that both of them have a lot of width of loin, a lot of nice hindquarter on these rabbits. Just for me, comes down to type and balance. And just a rabbit that's very eye appealing as I get out and from the side. Second place, the rabbit just doesn't quite have the profile for me. A rabbit is very hard bodied, very well conditioned rabbit. Just gets a little bit flat, gets a little bit choppy in the hindquarter. Just loses on overall type today. That'll be second place in the blue. First place, a very, very nicely typed, very well balanced rabbit. A lot of nice turn over the hip on this rabbit. Nice full hindquarter on it as well. Rabbit's just a little bit young compared to my second place rabbit, but a rabbit just balances better for me, has a very nice type and very nice profile. That's going to be your first place in the purple. 2 nice senior bucks here today. Wasn't an easy class. There's only 2, but it was an easy class to choose from. Second place, it's going to be my buck on the right here. He's going to be second place in a blue. Very nice color, very nice points and markings on this buck. I do like the overall type on this buck, but he just doesn't have the hindquarter to beat my first place rabbit. As you get on this rabbit, as he gets to the table, he starts to pinch and narrow out there at the base of the table. Doesn't quite have the hindquarter to beat my first place buck. First place is going to be your senior buck. I really like this rabbit. He just puts it all together for me today. I'd like to maybe improve that fur condition there. He's starting to break there over the spine into the hip, into the hindquarter, but for me, he just fills out to a nice wide hindquarter. It has a very nicely placed high point on this buck. Very nice full hindquarter. He's going to be your first place in the purple.
Congratulations in Class 1 of our junior California bucks. Second place in the blue to Will Pollock, and first place in the purple to Ella Peterson. Results of our second class, which is our senior California bucks. Second place in a blue to Grace Nippert, and first place in a purple to Ella Peterson. Our judge is now awarding Lily Anderson in class Mini Lop Buck Senior Mini. Again, if you have a breeding doe, please be ready to come out. Our judge will select our champion breeding buck and reserve champion breeding buck at the conclusion of this class, which will come from first place in each class. Our champion breeding buck receives an award sponsored by Kirk and Linda Baird. Thank you to all of our sponsors. I'll be mentioning all of them. Thank you for the time and effort that you give to sponsor the kids, and we would like to give you all a round of applause.
All right, we've got one Mini Lop Senior buck. This buck has a very, very nice head and ear. I really like the crown on this buck as well. Very nice head set on that, very nice depth and width the crown on this rabbit. Mini Lops, that's very, very important. The head and the crown is a lot of points. The ears are a lot of points. So having that crown very defined makes that ear set very important. So I really like that on this buck. He's just a little bit older rabbit for me. He doesn't quite have the condition, body condition that my two Californian bucks do, but he's going to be a first place in the blue. That's going to be a very nice buck, but he's not going to beat my Californians here today. My senior buck is going to be your champion buck. My junior buck is going to be my reserve here today. Just loses on development. Both very, very nice bucks. Both of these rabbits need to go back into their herd, and they need to raise some babies and go to work because they're very, very powerful bucks. But the senior buck, he's just got a lot of power. He's a very hard, very well muscle-defined buck. He's going to be your first place and your champion today.
Congratulations, Ella Peterson taking grand champion breeding buck with her senior and reserve champion breeding buck with her junior. And again, Ella will receive an award sponsored by Kirk and Linda Baird. Give them a second to move their rabbits to holding spots or out of the ring. And if you are in the first class, Lily Anderson, Evelyn Dykes, Grace Snippert, and Ella Peterson, make your way up to the south side of the cage. Lissa Anderson. Lissa Anderson with her mini, junior mini. Okay, she's coming, sorry. There we go. I was just signing them up in order of the program, if that's okay. Yep, that's all for this class. If you're following along on the program, we're at the California Does Senior class. California Does Senior class, we are getting all of our does out here since our numbers are small and mighty this year, but our judge is selecting and placing our California Does Senior class. Correction in the program, second class is a California. Okay, perfect.
She's grabbing his other one.
Okay, so then
This one should be in with this. He has his said what? He said no.
he said it's junior.
Okay.
I asked him.
Cool. That's perfect.
I asked him.
Good. She's bringing that one.
No, this one's, he hasn't all? This is a California.
And that's that one right there.
Okay.
So yes, he has a lot. He's a lot.
So he should have two.
So I'll make sure she brings
One
two.
here.
I'll
Thank
go
you.
get
Thank you. And maybe not, maybe there's a mistake. So he has,
She said there was two. You can go get it, bud. You can go get it. Put it over there. Just put him over. He's technically at the top of the program. You can put him over here unless you can babysit him. Sister.
I'll stand here and guard him.
Curtis will babysit. Curtis is a good babysitter.
Yeah.
Just ask him.
We got Mabel all weekend because Haley and Raymond had to go to her.
Oh my God, you're cute. Okay.
All right, 4 senior does, 4 Californian senior does. 4th place is going to be my doe, cow doe right here. This doe just doesn't quite have the type and the overall balance to compete with the rest of my rabbits in my class. She gets pretty flat over top of her hip there, and she gets pretty pinched there in her hind quarter as well. She does have a nice longer framed. This is a doe that'd be good to get into the breeding program, and she'd raise some good babies there with that longer bodied frame. But she just doesn't quite have the overall balance and type I'd like to see on a cow doe. 3rd place in the blue. 4th place will be blue. 3rd place will be blue as well. A doe that just doesn't have the overall fur condition to compete with the rest of my rabbits in my class. She gets a little bit rough in overall body condition, gets a little bit narrow and pinched here in the hind quarter as well. Pretty decent type. She has a nice turn over the hip for me, but she doesn't just fill that body out like my first 2 plate rabbits do today. 3rd place in the blue. 2nd place in the blue on my end as well. A rabbit just doesn't quite have the overall body condition my first place rabbit does today. She's a little bit on the smaller end. Doesn't quite fill that hind quarter out like I'd like to see. She gets a little bit softer overall condition as well. She'll be 2nd place in the blue. 1st place for me wins on overall condition. This doe's she's got that prime coat in here today. I'd like to fill her out a little bit through her loin here today, but she has the best type, most correct type. Very nice turn over the hip, very nice high point placement as well. She's going to be at 1st place and a purple.
Congratulations. Okay, congratulations. 4th place in the blue to Lily Anderson, 3rd place in the blue to Ella Peterson, 2nd place in the blue to Grace Nippert, and 1st place and a purple to Evelyn Dykes. Congratulations. Hang on just a second, okay? Hang on just a second. Okay, we are now 1 class up on the program. My old eyes missed that one. My apologies. It's Will Pollock, and he is exhibiting a California Junior Doe. California Junior Doe, and it's just above where we were on the program. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll wait and bring out.
So what do I have for classes that following? I need to take. All right, we've got 1 Cal Junior Doe. Let's go ahead and give her a 1st place in the blue here today. She's got pretty decent depth of body on this rabbit, but she just fails in width today to balance. I'd really like to fill this doe out, especially as we get that with the loin going from our hip to our loin juncture, and then our hind quarter too gets kind of pinched. So we'll go ahead and give that rabbit a blue today.
While we're giving applause and while the judge is working on the remaining classes, we'll go ahead and introduce our 2023 Fair Queen Court. We have, hang on girls, now I gotta remember this. No, go ahead and stand up. I was gonna have you make a rabbit noise. Are you ready for that? Good call, Madison. Madison is, Josie McCunn, 2nd runner-up for Miss Congeniality. Do your best rabbit show fair wave. Yeah, there we go. That's great. Madison Doyle is 1st runner-up, and we have our 2023 Montgomery County Fair Queen, Chloe Bruce. And they were tired last night at the races when we were there together. I hope they got some sleep. They're putting a lot of hours in, so thank you, all of you girls. You are showing, and you're being great role models, and you're also helping out. Do you need just like a regular little Band-Aid? I have a Band-Aid. Oh, I have a couple. Maybe. How about So again, if you're just joining us, we're in the breeding doe section of our judging. We have a lot of singletons in each class, so our judge has them out all at the same time. Right now at the south end of the north cages, if you can follow me there, we have Lissa Anderson and with her junior mini lop. Next, nope, we have Lily Anderson. Lily Anderson with her senior mini lop, Lissa with her junior mini, and then Will Pollock exhibiting a Holland lop and a lion head.
All right, we've just got one in each of these classes down here. We've got one mini lop senior doe. She's going to go ahead and be a first place in the blue for me today. She's got a pretty good head and ear on this doe. I like the depth and width of the overall crown, and the head on this rabbit just fails in body for me today, and fur conditions starting to molt there pretty severely over the saddle into the hindquarters, but nonetheless a very well balanced rabbit. Go ahead and give that first place in the blue. First place to our chin mini lop junior doe. This rabbit actually puts the pieces together pretty good for me today. I do like the head and the ear on this rabbit. I'd like to see a little more depth of crown on this doe, but she has a very nice turn over that hip, very nice body on this rabbit, nicely typed rabbit. She's going to be a first place in the blue today. I'm going to go ahead and give a first place in the red to our Holland lop doe. She gets pretty long in her overall body. Needs a little more work setting this doe up. She just gets kind of long and flat. I'd really like to work on her type and overall balance on this doe. We'll go ahead and give her a first place in the red. First place in the blue to my little lion head doe today. I do really like this doe. She has nice type, nice balance on this rabbit. I'd like to work a little bit on the fur on this doe, on the wool on this rabbit. Lion heads have a lot of working parts, especially with their wool and their characteristics there to get a very nicely put together lion head. But she actually puts it together pretty good. It's going to be a first place in the blue.
Hey, congratulations. If you're following along in the program, I'll just start at the top right there at the classes. Will Pollock receiving first place in a blue for his California Doe Junior. Then skipping the class we already judged, we have Will Pollock with his Holland Lop receiving a red in first place. Next class, our Mini Lop Doe Junior, a first place in a blue to Lissa Anderson. First place in a blue to Lily Anderson in her senior Mini Lop. And lastly, first place in a blue to Will Pollock with his lion head. Our judge will now select our champion breeding doe and reserve champion breeding doe. Again, our champion breeding doe will receive an award sponsored by the Spar family. Many of our sponsors are longtime award sponsors, and we truly appreciate that. So thank you again to the Spar family and all of our sponsors. And again at this, there we go, applause is great. Cheering, what, yay Spar family. And again, our judges in selection of our champion breeding doe and reserve champion breeding doe. Ella, if you can bring your bucks back up, your breeding bucks for selection of grand champion overall and reserve champion overall, you can put those in the holding cages when you have a minute, please. Thank you.
Because this is my doe, because for breeding pair is next.
Okay, so you need both for
Both.
reserve,
Okay.
grand and reserve. No, that's a breeding pair. Over here? It doesn't matter. You know which one you need to get? Your other buck? Okay.
All right, a little bit of variety up here. We got the Californians. Montgomery County is very full of Californians. I always love judging the cows, but we've got some nice mini lops, and we've got a lion head, and we've got a Holland lop as well down here, so it's nice to see the variety up here today. A couple pretty nice does up here that really kind of come to the top of the class for me today. Reserve is going to be your lion head doe. First place is going to be your Cal Senior doe. It'd take quite a bit to top her. She's got it put together. That'll be your champion.
All right, congratulations, Evelyn Dykes, champion, breeding doe, and Will Pollock, reserve champion, breeding doe with his lion head. We'll keep you guys out here. Everybody else can head back. Thank you. And we'll bring our 2 bucks shown by Ella Peterson, our grand and reserve. Yeah. Don't even worry. I wouldn't worry about it. Just bring your other one over here. Yep. Yep. We'll get it in a minute. We're okay. Our overall grand champion breeding rabbit will receive an award sponsored by Tracy Spar, and our reserve champion breeding rabbit will receive an award sponsored by United Group. And again, out here now we have our champion breeding buck and reserve champion breeding buck. There was a California senior and California junior exhibited both by Ella Peterson, our champion breeding doe exhibited by Evelyn Dykes, and our reserve champion breeding doe exhibited by Will Pollock.
All right, 4 nice rabbits up here. Go ahead and give the kids a round of applause. These rabbits really sorted themselves to the top. Very nice quality animals. Champion's going to be your senior buck today. This rabbit's just a power rabbit, man. He's just a horse. He just puts it all together. He's just full as hard as a rock, and he just carries it all the way from front to back. He's going to be your champion. Your senior doe is going to be your reserve today. Very well, nicely typed rabbit. Go ahead and give them a round of applause. Nice rabbits.
Okay, congratulations to Ella Peterson with her senior buck for Grand Champion Breeding Rabbit, and Reserve Grand Champion Breeding Rabbit awarded to Evelyn Dykes with her senior doe. We will now have our breeding pairs out. We have Grace Nippert, Ella Peterson, and Will Pollock. Take your time, you guys. Need any help? Good? All right.
My doe is pregnant, so she's a little bigger.
Sometimes a couple weeks before the fair, breeding your doe is not a bad thing either. It kind of gives them, kind of fills them out sometimes too. They can get a little bit more.
Grace, come on over here. That one's broken. No. Okay, do we have room or no? Can you got those two? Yeah, just go here. No, you're fine, honey. And then, oops, sorry. And then that way Will can just fit right there, right? Are you okay? So we have 3 exhibitors. Welcome. Okay, we are currently in our breeding pair class. We have 3 exhibitors, Grace Nippert, Ella Peterson, and Will Pollock. Our Grand Champion breeding pair will receive an award sponsored by Carol Spar. First class of Friars, please be on standby. Oliver Dykes with rabbit 14, Wiley Dykes 8, Wiley Dykes 7, Oliver Dykes 9. And Will, but I'm not going to yell at you. I know, I didn't say anything now. I think Dan. Dan, you know we'll have one first class too, right? Rabbit 64. I didn't call any of them out there. We're gonna, I'm calling those out. So just if you want. Okay, which class is it? It's the first Friar show class, 44. Okay. If you are in the first class of Friars and you want to bring your rabbits to the cages on the north side, that would be great. So that's Oliver and Wiley, each with 2 rabbits. So there'll be 5 total, but I didn't call Will because I just didn't say his name because he's out now. Yeah, just 5. Yeah, I thought I'd line them up right here as soon as. Yeah, however you want to do it. And again, if you're following along in the program, our judge is selecting and placing our breeding pairs. We have 3 breeding pairs, 3 exhibitors, Grace Nippert, Ella Peterson, and Will Pollock.
All right, we're on our breeding pairs today, all Californians up here. Actually, all 3 are actually pretty nice. I'm going by just this overall symmetry of the 2, how they complement each other, and how they're going to move forward if they were in a breeding program, and how they would benefit each program for the kids today. 3rd place can be young man's here on the end. Both rabbits are pretty decent overall. The overall condition, but for me, the overall type gets a little misconstrued there. The senior buck gets a little bit flat in his overall type. The doe, I really like the doe. She's got a pretty decent type on this doe, but I really like to widen her out. But they're going to go ahead and be a blue today. Young ladies in the middle, they're going to be your 2nd place pen today in a blue. The doe gets a little bit rough in her overall fur condition. She's just a little bit out of condition here today. That's the only thing that really sets this pair back today, but overall very well nicely typed rabbits. They're going to do her some good there as she raises some babies and brings in the next generation of her young ones. 1st place, my young ladies here on the end. Both rabbits very, very unified for me, very uniform. They are very closely tight, very nicely in condition, body condition for me today. They're going to be your 1st place and a blue today.
All right, congratulations. 3rd place in a blue to Will Pollock, 2nd place and a blue to Ella Peterson, and 1st place and a blue to Grace Nippert. Grace will receive an award for Grand Champion Breeding Pair sponsored by Carol Spar. Give everybody a second to get their rabbits put back. I know Will's got one in the next class. As you have time, we'll call out our 2nd class of Friars. That's Evelyn Dykes and Grace Nippert with 2. Don't hurry. You're fine. You're not going to hurry. You're fine. So we've still got, yeah. And I told him not to hurry because he's going to. Class 2 Friars, you can come on out and bring your rabbits to the south set of cages. That's Evelyn Dykes and Grace Nippert with 2 rabbits.
Or back in there.
All right, 5 fryers in our first class today. Fryers are anywhere from 3.5 to 5.5 pounds, upwards to 10 weeks of age. So on these rabbits, I'm looking for freshness of body. I'm looking for a lot of meat. These are commercial animals, so I want to see some soundness and hardness of body and condition. As long as I want to see that shoulder nicely filled out and starting right behind the ear and turn into a nice full peak there into the over the hip, turn of the hip there, and then filling it all the way into the base of the table. Nicely filled hindquarters. So hindquarters, loin, and shoulder is what I'm really looking at, as well as body condition and fur condition lastly. 5th place today in a red today is going to be my young man's on the end. This rabbit just doesn't quite have the body and fur condition for me today. Gets a little bit narrowed out in his loin and gets a little bit narrow in his overall body condition. He does have a decent depth of body, but doesn't have that width of body to match. So that'll be 5th place in the red. 4th place in the blue is a rabbit that doesn't quite have the body size and the overall development that the top 3 in my class do today. Fairly nice overall type on this rabbit, just doesn't have the overall development that my first 3 place rabbits do. Third place in the rabbit's just got a little more size, a little more fullness of body to it, but a little bit better condition than my fourth place rabbit. He's going to be third place today. He doesn't quite have the overall width of body and loin that my top two rabbits do today. Second place, my young man's rabbit on the end. Both very, very close first and second place rabbits today. First place just wins on overall type. First place has a little more shoulder to it. Second place rabbit might be a touch harder body, but doesn't quite have the loin, doesn't have the hind quarter and the shoulder that my first place rabbit does. First place is going to be a purple. Second place is going to be a blue.
All right, I'll read these in the order that they are in the program just because we have two exhibitors. So the first, Oliver Dykes received blue and third place. Then Wiley Dykes purple and first place with rabbit 8. Wiley Dykes blue and fourth place. Oliver Dykes blue and second place. And Will red and fifth place to Will Pollock. We'll keep rabbit first and second out here. And we'll move on to our show class 2 of meat fryers. Show class 2 of meat fryers. If you are in our class 1 of roasters, please make sure you're checking the program and that you have your rabbits ready. Class 1, we have Harper Allen, Will Pollock, Lily Anderson, Evelyn Dykes, Bella Glassell, and Maven Allen. Again, stand by ready. Our judge is judging our second class of fryers, and then we'll select our champion and reserve out of both classes of fryers. Our champion fryer rabbit will receive an award sponsored by Earl Sunderman. Sorry. And again, if you're just joining us, we're in class 2 of our fryers. Class 2 of our fryers, We have 3 rabbits, 2 exhibitors in this class, Evelyn Dykes and Grace Nippert with 2 rabbits. We have our first and second place winners from our class 1 of Friars. First place, purple to Wiley Dykes with rabbit 8, and second place in a blue to Oliver Dykes with rabbit number 9. As soon as we make selection and place class 2, our judge will continue and select our champion Friar and reserve champion Friar.
You're good, you're good. All right, 3 Friars up here today in our second class. Third place is going to be my Friar here in the middle. Doesn't quite have the overall hardness of body that my first 2 place rabbits do. It does have the width of body, it just doesn't quite have the depth of body. I'd like to move that high point back a little bit better there, a little bit farther back, give a little more depth of body to complete the overall balance and look on that rabbit. But that rabbit has got a few pieces put together. It's going to be 3rd place in the blue. Second place in the rabbit's got more balance on it. I think this rabbit's got the overall depth and width of body on this rabbit. It gets a little bit soft in overall body condition, but this rabbit actually puts it together pretty good. I'd maybe move that high point back just about a ½ inch, but everything else on this rabbit's very correct. That'll be second place in the blue. First place in a purple, my young ladies. Cal Friar here on the end. This rabbit is very, very deep. I really like the overall high point on this rabbit, the overall depth of loin on this rabbit as well. I'd maybe like to fill out that hind quarter just a tad to complete the balance on this rabbit, but for me, this rabbit's very fresh and hard. It's going to be your first place in a purple.
Congratulations. Awards in that class. First place to Evelyn Dykes with the purple, Grace Nippert's rabbit 46, 3rd place in a blue, and Grace Nippert's 2nd place in a blue with rabbit number 47. Our judge will now look at our 1st and 2nd place in class 1 and class 2 to select our champion Friar and reserve champion Friar rabbit.